The gift of tongues is one of the most debated and controversial gifts mentioned in the Bible. It is often described as the ability to speak in a language that is unknown to the speaker, either a heavenly language or a language of men that the speaker has not learned. The gift of tongues is mentioned several times in the New Testament, particularly in Acts and Corinthians. Some Christians believe that the gift of tongues is evidence of the baptism of the Holy Spirit and is still available to believers today, while others believe that it was only a temporary sign gift for the early church. There are also differences in how the gift is practiced, with some churches emphasizing the use of tongues in public worship, while others view it as a personal prayer language. One of the primary passages that discusses the gift of tongues is 1 Corinthians 14. In this chapter, Paul gives instructions on the use of tongues in the church. He states that the gift of tongues is not meant for personal edification, but for the edification of the church. He also says that if someone speaks in tongues in the church, there must be an interpreter present, so that the message can be understood by everyone. If there is no interpreter, the speaker should remain silent. Paul also emphasizes the importance of order in the church, stating that tongues should not be spoken out of turn or without interpretation, as this can cause confusion and hinder the worship of God. He encourages us to seek the gift of prophecy instead, as it is more beneficial for the edification of the church. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. I have been getting a lot of questions from people in the comments section asking if everyone must speak in tongues. The answer to that is no. Not everyone is required to speak in tongues. In 1 Corinthians 12, verse 30, Paul asks the rhetorical question, do all have gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? The implied answer is no, not all have these gifts. In 1 Corinthians 14, verse 5, Paul says, I would like every one of you to speak in tongues, but I would rather have you prophesy. Here, Paul expresses his desire for everyone to speak in tongues, but he also acknowledges that not everyone has the gift. Additionally, in 1 Corinthians 14, verse 18 to 19, Paul says, I thank God that I speak in tongues more than all of you, but in the church I would rather speak 5 intelligible words to instruct others than 10,000 words in a tongue. Paul emphasizes that the gift of tongues is not the most important gift, and that it should be used in a way that edifies the church. In summary, the gift of tongues is a legitimate gift from God, but its use should be in accordance with biblical principles and for the edification of the church. It should not be used as a means of showing off or as a measure of one's faith or spiritual maturity. Thank you for watching.